Hey, welcome to the Oracle section of today's episode of 1320 Time Stream. Well, I'm going to proc all these for you really quickly, starting with the center one. Your Resonant Knight. Helping power is the Resonant Warrior. Guiding power is the Resonant Eagle. Challenging power is the Resonant Skywalker. Hidden power is the Resonant Mirror. First thing I'm actually going to speak about is the tones. Notice that it's 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Unlike other days where the hidden power is actually different from the daily tone, the only one that is not like that is 7. Now, a good signifier on the reason for that, the why behind that, is that every single... Let's just take a quick little rip to yesterday. Ping, look at that. We're yesterday all over again. If we take a look at the analog power, or the helping power, it's rhythmic. And if we take a look at the occult power is galactic. Rhythmic is 6, galactic is 8. Together, they are 14. If we go back again to the dragon, the helping power is overtone, even the daily power, overtone. All of these upper energies are overtone. And the last power of the day will be solar. 5 plus 9 is 14. So every single combination of tone and the hidden power, daily tone and the hidden power, will always equal 14. So you can ask yourself, like if you're doing this in your head, I boiled this arithmetic down a long time ago, and it's how to do the oracle in your head. You're just like, you know what the day is. Oh, I know that it's blue resonant night. So you can easily calculate what's the helping guide, challenging, and hidden powers of the day. You don't have a device or nothing. You don't have a book. You don't have the internet. You're out in the forest doing a meditation, whatever. You're on a journey, something, and you need to know what's going on. Or someone's like, oh, my sign is this, and you're just like, well, this is what's going on for you, right? This is all your tones. This is all your signs. This is how they interact. This is your wave spell. It may seem like a very vast task to be able to know that, but it's actually really simple. It's very simple mathematical equations, very much like you're being shown here. In fact, right now, this is actually feeling like the channel of the warrior for today, because the warrior, one of those words is intelligence. And so it feels like we're answering questions with a certain level of intelligence, and I'm just kind of channeling it. So I'm going to go with that. We'll give the warrior a description and stuff, but I'm feeling, because I'm more and more attuned with the process of presenting this information, that as I show up in that field, the energy takes shape in me to accurately represent how the seals can show up as interactive energies. So we'll just finish what we're saying. So 7, well, the difference between 7 and 14 is 7. So 7 plus 7 is 14. Just like tomorrow, we're going to be an 8. So the hidden power is going to be a 6. And then 9 and 5, 10 and 4, so forth, and so on. So you always know that you can even look just at you don't even have to look at the hidden power. You can just go, boom, what's our whatever power today? It could be analog, it could be challenge, it could be guide, it could be the main one. All those 4 are going to hold the same tone as the daily tone. We know this is 7. What's the difference between 7 and 14? Boom. That's what your hidden power is going to be. If you know it's a magnetic day, hey, it's the beginning of a wave spell. It's magnetic earth, it's magnetic sun, it's magnetic hand, whatever. my hidden power is going to be cosmic. If it's a lunar date, my hidden power is going to be crystal, or 12, 212, 311, 10-4, so forth and so on. Little download for you there. So, getting into it here, and warrior's intelligence energy. The warrior's sword, the sword of truth, you could say is a sword that cuts away ignorance, cuts away not knowing, and is simplified by the aspect of questioning itself. And in as such, once those questions occur, once that sword begins to move, the sword is the seeking of truth, the seeking of illumination. Then that intelligence comes forth. That energy of intelligence can fill that space where before it was the unknown. And the energy of fearlessness, which in another episode I called heartfulness, because to have no fear is to essentially have heart. And it's to not, to be able to confront, to be able to look into the depths and put your hand in and say, hey, what's here? Right? In order to really bring forth or receive or summon forth that wisdom and intelligence therein. Right? Now this can take on many forms. And as we're channeling and attuning to it, today's a really beautiful day for that, because for me, I find the resonant tone is one of the simplest tones because it beckons us to just kind of be open and empty. You don't have to overthink nothing. It's very just like, I'm just going to like open up the channel of my neck and spine energy. I'm going to open up my inner womb and just become so open and just empty inside. And I'm going to be just filled. And the energy simply flows through you. And I feel today that's the kind of energy of the warrior that I really want to represent. That's actually the kind of energy of all the seals, but as far as the intelligence energy, in fact, even right now, I'm kind of looking at the warrior seal. It's kind of like this, tombstone looking thing with a kind of smoky question mark spiral on it, with these kind of like rays, these dual lined kind of rays going into it. For me, that just triggered seeing it as like that empty space is like that tombstone-y kind of thing. And something just entered it, like a spiritus just entered it. It was channeled in, so that's like the intelligence. So for a moment, that just felt like the sign's like quality as it's showing to us right now. So that's that for that one. And let's go on to the ego, the resonant ego. Oh, the resonant ego, channeling the vision. Oh, I love it. I feel it's a really beautiful invitation today to go into that quality. Today, I would say today is a really good day to brainstorm. It's a really good day to connect with others. If you're a work or office people, or if you're like just starting something and whatnot, good day for mind mapping. Good day for getting together, projecting the future. Things like that, really receiving that vision. In other aspects, in sacred medicine work and meditation, even for those energies that can be considered kind of vision quest oriented, some participate in peyote ceremonies, ayahuasca ceremonies, mushroom ceremonies, things like that, where the visual quality of communication is far more prominent and pronounced in that process of self-becoming, self-realization, self-healing. And so this is also a good day to, if you're holding a ceremony, if you're going to a ceremony, this could represent that you'll be guided by channeling that visionary quality today. Could be a good day for a beautiful medicine journey. Go deeper into yourself. Go deeper into the dream, deeper into the intuition. Face some fears. Unlock that aspect of yourself. Maybe go into a guided meditation, not unlike the one that we're doing here. Potentially another one that you're you've heard of or whatnot. Maybe it's more visual. Another thing which I also associate the ego with sometimes is visual media and visual material. What's on the screen? What are you looking at? Right? Maybe you're the kind of person today who needs to relax and get into watching a good TV show, right? Maybe you want to watch a really cool movie. I find those are also the visual qualities. Creates vision and mind, channeling mind, attuning mind. Today's that a day to attune your mind. And because we're, working with that night energy, what are we attuning our mind to? Well, we're attuning our mind to the dream intuitively. So while there's this aspect of seek out and command and like go do a thing, because that's the precursor of our experience here in life, kind of like socially, is like what are we doing? And there's an emphasis on to control or make a thing happen, which actually subconsciously steals the sentience of our interaction with this experience. It's more of a wave dynamic of back and forth, or like up and down, or like centrifugal, reciprocal, showing up for each other consistently, resonating, vibrating, synchronizing. And so it's like a tuning mind. You can choose to attune your mind, or if you just allow yourself, if you don't bring that force in, whatever you begin to participate with you will attune your mind. Even if it's something you find you don't like, you're like, oh, I'm doing this thing and I don't like it. Well, maybe you needed that pressure of not liking something to bring your thoughts and to bring your mind to something that you do. Right? Because sometimes we're just lost in a process. We're in a geometry of our mind, a geometry of our perception that may just be where it is. It's hard to say the mind is this or that or the other, because it doesn't matter what time of where or whatever, we are simply just where we are. And that can't really be defined as a causal thing. Even in moments of dissynchronicity, that is the bedrock for synchronicity. And so every word that we say can be a very misleading functionalism through this objectionality. And so, creation, we are creatively attuning in this space. So there can be a playful algorithm too. It can be something that we're doing, a work that we're doing. About creating the creation energy, the mind energy, the vision energy is working with our channel energy today. And that's how the ego is showing up for us, and it's asking us to show up for ourselves. Okay, let's go into our challenging power of the day. The Skywalker, the Resonant Skywalker. I actually feel it's really appropriate, that it comes right after the guiding power here, because the ego is like the energy that flies high in the sky. The Skywalker is similar in a way. Now, it's interesting. I'm going to go into kind of a mythology which relates to the seal before it and the seal after it. Now, this particular mythology can go back all the way to the first seal, the dragon, mind you, which is actually the sun, which is 0 to 19. And so 0 and 20, which are the sun, they can either have the first and the last, the alpha and omega point of this particular system. But we're not going to go back that far. We are just going to explain the step before and after the Skywalker. Before the Skywalker, we have the human, seal 12. And then after the Skywalker, we have the wizard. Now, what you see here, there are many ways of interpreting it. One of the most fundamental ways that I've learned about the Skywalker is the pillars of earth and the pillars of heaven. And so the Skywalker is the journey of the human to become the wizard or the sorcerer. So the Skywalker is the process of becoming the earthly grounded creature to the more elevated sky or galactic creature or intelligence. That's why I find it appropriate. The eagle is above, it was just before that, because it's like in the space where eagles dwell, in the higher mind. And so those of you that are familiar with Star Wars mythologies, Skywalker can really bring a resonance. It can really, you can actually glean a lot of truth. The difference between, say, a regular human and a Jedi, right? Those could very easily signify the yellow human and the white wizard. You could say that the white wizard is the Jedi, and the human is simply the human. And the Skywalker is the process of becoming. So this is all happening in that channel, and as far as what comes up for me right now is that neck and spine energy. The neck and spine energy, the channeling, bringing energy from the lower realms of the energy body to the higher realms of the energy body and linking together your lower self and your higher self. The Skywalker is the journeyer. The Skywalker explores space. And so in this aspect, we're allowing the energy within ourselves to bridge that inner gap, that inner space. And again, this is a really good day for some kind of meditation, some kind of way to move that energy. The Skywalker also has a hand in the representation of prophecy. Skywalker is known as the sign of prophecy. And so it represents prophetic behavior. It represents, telling the future, a very Nostradamian, a very, Mayan calendrical, taking a look at era in the future. Prophecy. And so channeling prophecy, attuning ourselves to prophecy. And I find that all of these things come together because, when we really kind of take a look at the prophecy of our times, it's that we're an ascending culture and we're becoming those earth wizards. We're becoming those Jedis. And so the challenging part of the day is kind of recognizing the hurdles of how we are the human becoming the wizard, how we are becoming the Padawan, making that leap to the Jedi, how we're bringing those lower earthier, more dense energies into maybe a more illuminated or connected or synchronized state. And if you really just kind of bring this back to the whole dream theme, it makes perfect sense. Maybe we're not connected, maybe we're not attuned, maybe we're not channeling the dream because we are invested in a certain density. And so it can show us that challenge has to be met first before the energy can flow into those spaces that tickles the fabric of the dream and excites our own receptors to allow it to enter our space, our receptive space. And so the journey of the resonant tone, because that's like that open pipeline, that channel at neck and spine energy, the journey of the Skywalker prophesizes the full connection, the return of that, rainbow feathered serpent, the dense energy becoming the motion of Kundalini, connecting to the heightened energy, creating that rainbow pipeline of the chakras on, and you being connected and attuned. Even though that's a more grandiose kind of world prophecy analogy of it, I also use it as a microcosmic factor to bring a commonality simply into how our energy body kind of works. That cosmic prophecy can actually be a daily phenomenon that's actually really simple to accomplish and doesn't have to be such a world-changing, fundamentally almost unreachable propaganda. That as those Mayan prophecies really settle into us, I'll give a drop about this just because we're talking about prophecy. A lot of people who are out there who, worked with the Mayan calendar or these frequencies, were really, really hung up on the 2012 date, December 21st, 2012. Now, there was definitely a portal then at this time. But the real transmission, and, some people can receive this, some people can't, simply because it's simply a matter of attunement. 1320 or 2013, which what was being elucidated to by the calendrical date, is the 1320 timing frequency. It is natural time. And so the great world shift that we're actually speaking of has always been spoken about in the fourth dimensional technology that is the Mayan calendar itself, is the 1320 system, which is portrayed here in this system before you. It is a harmonic embodiment of a crystallized fourth dimensional intelligence that allows the human being to connect with itself to the point of intergalactic activity. And so the rainbow culture, these prophesized rainbow cultures, this is a rainbow science that we're speaking of here. And the embodiment function is not, the world's going to end, this crazy Armageddon, all this kind of fear propaganda. It's that we're allowing the disharmonic cultivation that we have invested in and have been taught to invest in, we're allowing it to dissolve by recoding our imprint-ready receptors in our holographic DNA, in our body, in our biological components, in our external biosphere. As we get into other videos, you'll see a science when we bring into the holon, which is the map of the human body. We also have the earth holon, which is the map of the earth. And it shows how the Mayan signs here are connected to the earth. And so our body is literally connected to certain parts of the earth. And so the more we're doing to show up in our body for the earth as the earth, we are the earth. So we're taking responsibility. By using a science like this, we have the architectural capacity, wisdom, and knowledge to take much more of a full responsibility for the earth by being the earth. One person can change a lot. When we say be the change you want to see, with a system like this, it becomes 1,000,000% more relevant, because as you change, as you show up as the change, you're the one holographically emanating that. And you're synchronizing with more of that. If you're not seeing the change, question yourself. Use that warrior energy. Am I living true to who I am? Am I limiting myself? Am I hoping to see something from the outside? Or am I fully attuning to the dream on the inside? Because as you attune to that dream, you are going to live prophecy. You're going to be a direct part of that. And you will be shown how you can take a functional level of full responsibility for all of creation and get in touch with your goddess, god archetype, that creatress, that creator in you. Okay? Feeling that energy flow. That was a good one. Okay, let's come into the mirror. Channeling our reflections. What really comes up for me today here, especially because it's in the quadrant of potentially sleeping for some people, and the energy of the day is dreaming. What comes through here is that there's and this is like, this may be happening in the sleeping space, that there may be a channeling. The reflections here, that when I hear channeling, it actually kind of makes me think a little bit of the storm energy, in the way that there's like an eye in the vortex. This makes me think a little bit about the reflections, which to me sometimes I picture as a broken mirror, shattered glass everywhere, or broken crystal, because those are like the reflections. Those are all of the different thoughts and little snippets of light is hitting them, but not really transparently going through them. But the channeling, the neck and spine energy, is like that pipeline. So it's almost like there's a clear pathway within those reflections. So it's like we can see the dynamic framework, the auratic radiance of all the presence of all the reflections, but there is an empty, naked space in the inside, a void, which is clear of being affected or indulging or investing in those reflections, whether positive or negative. We're not bringing light to positive and negative here. And so this may have a factor to do with the dream. Again, this is like what's hidden from us during the day as well. You know, what may be keeping us kind of like the flow of energy of like, I feel it's actually appropriate. Like we're tuning our mind in the ego. We're like moving our central channel of energy to create that pipeline of connected chakra or energy in our higher and lower realms. And then this may be the energy that's creating that vortex, creates that clear space through. You know, if you had broken glass on the floor and you broomed through the middle of it, right? That's a safe space. That's a clear space, and you're attuned to that. So I feel these are four very, very good energies here for the warrior. Really brings about that intelligence, the how-to. The ego allows us to attune our minds and our creative aspects to it. The Skywalker challenges us to really give ourselves to that journey, really bridge those spaces. And the mirror, I feel, gives us the secret of, you know, letting go of our thoughts, our limiting thoughts or reflections that may be unattuning us from the dream itself. And in the center of all of this is the night, is the dream. That feels pretty good for this section of this episode of 1320 Time Stream. That's the Oracle section. Stay tuned for the Mayan Pyramid meditation. See you soon.